the Chinese New Year, many workers are eager to return to the city, wanting to continue their previous jobs or find a new one. But it is really hard to find a job after the New Year. Especially with the withdrawal of foreign capital, factory orders have decreased, and a large number of workers are facing the dilemma of not being able to find a job. This is the Guangzhou clothing market after the Chinese New Year, and the scene is crowded with a large number of workers who can't find jobs. Man. Brothers, look, there are more and more people looking for jobs now, and the job seekers are lining up. Man. Today is the latest market situation on Xi'an New Street, February 10th. To be honest, due to the bleak clothing business last year, no one made any money. In addition, the current living expenses are too high. This year, workers looking for jobs have basically come very early. Before the 15th day of the first lunar month, the job market is already crowded. Man. Dongguan is no longer a paradise for workers. I am now in Zhengan Science and Technology Park. Look at this industrial zone. There isn't even a shadow of a person looking for a job. Those who haven't come to Dongguan shouldn't come to Dongguan. Woman. Those who haven't come to Shenzhen shouldn't come either. I'll ask about the salary. It's either 3,000 yuan or 4,000 yuan. Finding a salary of 5,000 yuan is too difficult. Woman. What's wrong with the factories this year? Today is the 10th day of the first lunar month, and many factories are still not open. I came late last year and couldn't find a good job. I didn't go home for the New Year this year, and I still can't find a job. At the job site, only those born in the 1990s are being recruited. Young people born before that are not welcome. Man. Those born in the 1990s, only those born in the 1990s. Those born before 1990 can go back. We need to be under 33 years old. Not only is it difficult to enter a factory, but even the construction industry is in a downturn. Man. It's even harder to get on a site this year. You see, there are only a few people on site now. In previous years, we were urged to go to the factory to work by the 7th or 8th day of the first lunar month. I just went to the client and asked him when the work would start. He told me to wait until after the New Year. There's no rush since there's no deadline. Brothers, just wait and see. This year, jobs are even scarcer, and getting paid is even harder. According to common sense, after the New Year, all industries should be waiting to revive, and it should be the time for factories to make a big move. But for some factory bosses, life is not easy. Man. I found that the people doing the work were more anxious than us. Many technicians and workers ask us every 2 days when we will start work. I told them the boss will be unemployed this year and won't receive any money. He'll be at home roasting sweet potatoes every day. A blogger disclosed, after the Chinese New Year, many factories, especially small and micro ones in the clothing and textile industry, hesitate to reopen. Unsold goods from last year pile up, and new orders are scarce. Producing more only deepens losses. A textile factory with 87 employees operated for 11 months last year, paying 6.1 million yuan in wages. Its annual output was 28 million yuan, but it only sold 21 million yuan, losing 7 million yuan in inventory and another 6.1 million yuan in wages. If it ships this year, the 7 million yuan inventory may lose another 1 million yuan. Desperate, the boss tricked his mother-in-law, mortgaged 3 houses, and took a 3.2 million yuan loan to cover wages and supplier debts. After the Spring Festival, employees kept calling, asking when work would resume. Reopening means losses. Staying closed means workers leaving, making rehiring difficult when orders return. Now, the boss faces a tough choice: shut down to protect assets or keep going, risk bankruptcy, and drag his family into hardship. Bosses struggling due to poor business are not isolated cases. Man. There is a clothing factory owner with more than 80 workers. After paying salaries during the Chinese New Year, he didn't even have enough money for gas to go home. His father had to transfer him 10,000 yuan. How miserable is that? Man. Well, most of the textile factories in my hometown in Hubei did not perform well last year. The market situation took a sharp downturn in August and September. Factories are overflowing with inventory, often worth tens of millions of yuan. The boss dares not cut production, fearing workers will leave due to lack of income. If workers leave and orders come in, that would be even worse. Since the second half of last year, many textile factories in Hubei have been operating at half capacity, taking frequent breaks. Some believe it was because last winter was warm, reducing demand for velvet clothing and hurting the textile industry. But that is not the main reason. The real issue is the severe external economic downturn and weak demand. The following video went viral online because a female factory worker serving food looked haggard, with serious dark circles under her eyes. This triggered empathy among netizens, who said the factory worker looked just like them. Some also questioned, is it worth exhausting your body just to make a living? Her severe dark circles are likely due to long-term night shifts and poor rest. Regarding this, some netizens commented that in an increasingly difficult economy, even with exhausting work and endless night shifts, new workhorses, dare not resign. Many people have seen this video. Where is the spirit in this female worker? Is there any light left in her eyes? One look, and you can tell the dark circles are from staying up late. In early February 2025, the well-known Shanghai smart driving company Zhongmu Technology was exposed to a financial crisis, and the boss fled abroad without paying salaries. 4 days after work resumed in the Year of the Snake, the company was sealed. The day before work started, the boss, Tang Rui, held an online meeting and said that he was not in the country, the company had no money, he had no money, and he was unwilling to declare bankruptcy. As for everyone's salaries, Social Security, and Provident Fund, he simply abandoned them. Then, the company's senior management collectively disappeared and stopped handling or responding to any inquiries. After work officially resumed, suppliers came directly to the company, and since they couldn't get their money, they could only take assets instead. Currently, the company owes more than 280,000 yuan in electricity bills, and a Social Security payment reminder has been posted. The property management fees remain unpaid, though the exact amount owed is unknown. As for our nearly 1,000 employees, as I mentioned before, all Social Security and Housing Provident Fund payments were stopped, affecting their residency status and loan applications. There are also some pregnant women in the company who are about to give birth but cannot use their medical insurance or maternity benefits, severely impacting them. The average employee has gone unpaid for 3 to 4 months, not to mention the compensation they should have received. Some interns who just graduated have also encountered this situation and cannot get their salaries. The company is unable to process resignations for current employees, forcing them to go to government offices to handle it themselves. China's economic environment has deteriorated, and lower-class people are having a hard time. It is said online that a large number of people who pick up leftovers to eat have appeared in Beijing, Shanghai, and other places. They wait in restaurants and eat the leftovers of diners to fill their stomachs. This phenomenon has attracted the attention of netizens, and some netizens have directly ridiculed the hungry socialist golden age. Recently, a post from the mainland went viral on social platforms. The poster, Happy Snow Treasure, said that at 10 o'clock in the evening, the Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, in Zhujiahui, Shanghai, was full of corner squatters. Most of them were sleeping on the table or sitting and looking at their mobile phones. There were men, women, young and old, and they were dressed neatly. Once they found that a guest had finished eating and left, they would quickly go over to check the plates to see if there were any leftovers, and drink the drinks too. It was truly unexpected that it was in Zhujiahui in 2024. In this regard, many netizens also left messages to confirm. I saw something similar when I was in Shanghai. I was a little shocked when I saw it for the first time. I saw it in KFC in Shuhui District, Shanghai, in 2023. Some people picked up the leftovers of customers and ate them. KFC staff did not stop them. Last week, I had just left KFC with my friends after drinking coffee and afternoon tea. A man among a group of Shanghai aunts and uncles sat on our seats and looked through our food to see if there was anything left. Maya Lin. This phenomenon has existed for a long time. It was still white-collar workers in office buildings. At that time, they bought a house and paid the mortgage every month, so they went to food stalls to eat leftovers to save money. Alas, the phenomenon of picking up leftovers to eat has long appeared in Beijing and other places. Provence Gangster account said, Beijing's 24-hour McDonald's has had such a group for more than a decade. They are not dressed decently but just stay overnight. According to my observation, they are more like petitioners. I heard that in about 2019, all real and fake beggars or homeless people in Beijing were taken away for organ matching. Akalin Hamura said, a few years ago, a bunch of grandpas and aunts were doing this in IKEA in Sanyuanqiao, Beijing. The rainy night when my husband walked out for his mistress. There are quite a lot of people like this in Beijing, eating at McDonald's, eating at black kiln factories. I have encountered more than 1 or 2 times. Joey Crazy said, including Starbucks in many places. When I went back to Wuhan, many Starbucks also had a lot of people who were always carrying it. Leo said, this should be the case in McDonald's all over the country. It is warm in winter and cool in summer and is the best place for homeless people. There have been news reports before, and netizens praised the company for its compassion. Other netizens left messages. IKEA also has it, picking up other people's leftovers to eat. How hard it must be to do this. Eating other people's leftovers in public is already a helpless kind of person. There were many before the epidemic. No tragedy in China can shock people. It's too common. A large number of vagrants are homeless in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangdong. The collapse of China's economy is unimaginable. The people are suffering. Workers are exhausted and crying. The unemployed sleep on the streets. Young people go to pick up garbage. The iron rice bowl companies are laying off employees, and even civil servants are cutting their salaries. It is reported on the internet that a large number of vagrants have appeared in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangdong. They are homeless and sleep on the roadside and under the bridge. Sometimes they are driven away by ruthless CCP law enforcement officers. There is a crying wave of unemployment on mainland social media. According to Radio Asia, on social platforms such as Douyin, Kuaishou, and Xiaohongshu in mainland China, many users share their experiences. Some cry about the hardships of life, some complain about the injustice in the workplace, and some express helplessness and anger. This year, there are 11.7 million college graduates in China. According to many people, the actual employment rate of college students this year is about 50%, which is lower than last year. Many companies have started to lay off old employees. Kai Shenkun, a senior financial commentator, said that China's current unemployment problem has not yet reached its worst time. I think the unemployment problem will become more and more serious. Now on Douyin, Kuaishou, Xiaohongshu, and other platforms, many people are crying. Of course, some people are trying to gain traffic, but a large number of people are truly reflecting the current situation. This is a basic reflection of China's unemployment situation.